and welcome back to my channel. We are Caroline and Quinn. Hello. She is 6 months old and she has just started weaning. If you are new around here on my channel, I have a 3-year-old as well, so I have weaned before. And so I thought I would share with you some of the things which I found essential for weaning and things that you need. A small disclaimer though, just want to throw this in there, I'm not a dietitian, nutritionalist, paediatrician, doctor, any of the above who works with babies and food. I'm just a mother who has weaned already and is now in the process of weaning again. So I'm just sharing with you my advice, and yeah, I hope it helps. Right, apologies for the really weird setup. I'm in my kitchen and the lighting in here is wild. So yeah, either I'm really washed out or really dark. So we're just gonna sidetrack past that. Of course, the main thing you need when weaning is a high chair or somewhere for your baby to sit. It doesn't have to be a high chair. You can use those bumbo seats with a tray, but it is very important that you get somewhere for your baby to sit properly, because they can't sit on your lap or someone else's lap, as that is a choking hazard. So that's something you definitely need. We have the IKEA Antelop high chair. It's fairly cheap and works very well. The second thing, of course, you need when weaning is a bib. This is the Easy Tots bib, which is just one of those rubber bibs, and it has a little pocket pouch collector thing, which is very good. My son, who's 3, still uses these now. You can also buy bibs, which I do have, but I haven't got them with me. I'll put a picture on the screen. It's a bib called the Bibado. There are different varieties of this bib, but I do really recommend this bib. It's basically a coverall. It covers, you know, down to the wrist, and you can strap it underneath the high chair. It's got a place for the food to go, and it just essentially means that your baby is protected from the amount of mess they're about to make with food. It's completely, yeah, it's a great thing. They are quite expensive though, so they're not a necessity, but they are very good for collecting food. It stops food from going down their lap, which is something that's very annoying when you, even with these ones here, food will still make its way down to the lap, smushed under their bum. It can get everywhere. So I do recommend a complete coverall bib if you fancy forking out a little bit more money, but I'm sure there are cheaper ones on the market. I just had the Bibado from 2020 when I started weaning. I think that was like the new thing that everyone was buying, so that's what I bought. You also will need cutlery. You're gonna end up with lots of this stuff. You get given it for free, you buy a brand, you see another one, you think that's a good idea, so you buy it. You're gonna end up with lots of cutlery. I've got loads of bamboo cutlery. I'm gonna say it, bamboo cutlery, bamboo plates, they're not that phenomenal. Don't waste your money. They're very Instagram aesthetic, but they're not that great. This is the spoon. I've got about 10 of these things and they work, they're fine. They're not supposed to be dishwasher friendly. I don't care. I put it in the dishwasher on the top rack. Also, you're supposed to rub it down, all bamboo items. You're meant to rub them down with coconut oil once a week, once a month, to keep them in tip-top condition. I haven't got time for that sort of thing. So yeah, you can get a bamboo one and bamboo plates if you fancy it, but don't worry too much about that. Yeah, they're nothing special. But we have these ones here, which are a little bit curved. They're from the Easy Top brand. I don't know where this one came from. This is I think I got this one free somewhere. And then there's this spoon here, which is new to us. This is a Tommy Tippy Smushy. I can't remember what the name is, but it's the essential, the crux behind it is that you dip this into, or baby dips this into whichever you're feeding them. And because it's not shaped like a spoon, they haven't got a scoop, which is obviously an action they don't know how to do yet. So you can dip it and eat it, because the food, I assume, gets caught in these little grooves. I haven't used it yet because my daughter is only 6 months old. We haven't got as far as self-feeding, but I've seen lots of babies online do well with these things. So yeah, I highly recommend them. Again, this is a Tommy Tippy brand. I'm sure Amazon have a cheaper one if you fancy that, but this was about £6 for 2, I believe, or maybe £5 for 2. But yeah, cutlery. You need cutlery. There's ones that change colour if it's too hot or too cold. There's bendable ones, there's flexible, there's super long ones. There's so much out there. So I would say just buy a cheap brand online and see how it goes. And if it works, then great. If it doesn't work, then just buy something else slightly different, because what works for me might not work for you. So just bear that in mind. Cutlery, there's too much out there, so just go with what you want to go with. The next thing, obviously, you're going to need plates. Again, this is the Easy Top brand. This one goes really well with the IKEA Antelop Highchair we have, because it's got the little bits there. It's like that. It's a very good size. I really like this one. It suctions on, and it does suction on quite well. I also have a bamboo one, which I love. I cannot lie. I put coconut oil on it every month or so? No. Has it been on the dishwasher? Yes. Is it surviving? Yes. Does it suction well? No. The suction on this is not super, but like I say, it does the job. You can see it's got a few scratches on it. But yeah, so I've got lots of plates. This bowl, by the way, the Easy Top bowl, is absolutely hopeless, does not stick at all. Just bear that in mind if you go on the Easy Top's website. Yeah, I mean, you're going to end up with lots and lots of different types of plates. Again, similar to cutlery, go with what works for you. Suction ones are better because babies like to throw things, but at the same time, babies, especially 6-month-old babies, I think maybe 6 to 8-ish months, unless you're serving them like porridge and stuff, for the most part, you're just going to bung it on the tray itself. You're not going to worry about plates because there's no point. There's no need. You don't need to put, you know, finger food of cucumber on a plate. Just put it on the tray. So don't worry too much about plates at the very early stages, but you will need them obviously in the future as the meals start to become proper meals and not sort of taste tests. But I've got lots of them, and my favourite one is probably the Easy Tots suction one because it fits my high chair very well. My son currently, who's 3, we have now moved on to just regular plastic plates, but he was a big fan of the divider type ones here for when he was sort of 2.5, because it just made it easier for me personally to be able to see he's getting a mixture of foods, and I could put like plain spaghetti in the top corner here and then some spaghetti bolognese mixed together here, so he didn't get overwhelmed by one giant meal, if that makes sense, and one giant plate. So yeah, that's just something to bear in mind. And then the final 2 essential things you need: wipes. So obviously you don't need reusable wipes. That is personal preference whether you use reusable or disposable, but I will say you will go through a lot of wipes because hands get messy, faces get messy, high chairs get messy, and yeah, I would say go with a reusable option just because it's a lot easier to have one of these to hand. Because they're thicker, they will clear up messes a lot quicker than flimsy disposable wipes, and then you can just shove them in a little, we have a little mesh bag, and then we throw them in the washing machine when we do our regular wash. It's just food, same as if it was on a clothing item, so it's nothing, it's not gross, it's not disgusting. You don't have to buy proper wipes. These are from the brand Cheeky Wipes. I love Cheeky Wipes, but you don't need, you could literally just buy a pack of 20 flannels from Amazon for probably about £3 and they would work absolutely fine. So yeah, you don't need reusable wipes, you can use flannels instead. So yeah. Final thing you definitely need is some kind of drinking container. I have the Munchkin 360 cups. I love these. We have about 3 or 4. This is the bigger size for my son. You can get smaller ones. These are great. They don't spill water out of them. They're great, and they are, that's how they work. Make sure you clean this bit because I've been caught out a few times where mould has been growing under there, bear in mind. But I know that a lot of people like to use just open cups for babies. That's not what I want to do. I prefer for them to learn to drink out of this. The way I would teach a baby to drink out of it is tip it up, and if you squish it down, you release the suction and water will go in their mouth. I'm not a dentist. I don't know what's correct and what's not correct, but from what I have read online is the sippy cups are not very good for teeth, the little ones with little sippy nibs. They're not very good for, yeah, the jaw alignment and teeth alignment. These are apparently very good for that, from what I've read online. And like I say, open cups, this can be obviously turned into an open cup if you fancy it. I just don't want to deal with the mess of water everywhere. I'm already dealing with the food, and my son, who's 3, can drink out of an open cup, and we've never taught him how to. So I'm not too precious about that. But you will need some sort of cup because babies will need to start drinking water from 6 months old, but little sips, not lots. Now on to the bits you don't necessarily need, but you may want to think about. So this is, I would say this is quite an essential. This is for when you're on the go. This is another Munchkin, is it Munchkin? Yeah. Yeah, another Munchkin cup. This is perfect for on the go snacks. You can put things like Cheerios, cut up fruit in there, and you put the lid on, you screw it on, hand goes in here, and there's not a mess everywhere. If they drop it, food doesn't fall out. 10 out of 10 recommend these. By the way, I'm going to link everything down below if you needed to follow any links. But yes, I would highly recommend these. They are a godsend. You can get little like pots with screw lids, which are super helpful as well, but they're not so good if you give them to baby to independently eat, because like I say, soon as that gets tipped upside down, the food is gone, the snacks are gone, your baby's crying, and then so are you. So yeah, these I highly recommend. Also, something which I want to use more of this time around, now I'm weaning second time around, are these. They're reusable pouches, and I didn't use them as much as I would have liked to have done with my son. I don't really know why, but you can like puree food, make juices or soups, put them in here. So you fill it up from the bottom, and then you seal it like so, and then you feed it like a regular pouch. I'm going to try and use these more. Of course, these are completely not necessary. If you want to make your own puree, just would be so much easier in something like this than me having to spoon feed things in from a little pot, or yeah, just there's this. Obviously, regular pouches are great too that you can buy from the shops, but if you want to make your own, I highly recommend a reusable one. Something I sort of implemented off my own back is just because I felt kind of gross cleaning the high chair with the same cloth that I would use to clean kitchen surfaces. I have nominated yellow cloths in my house are high chair only cloths. This is something just me, personal preference again, because obviously babies, they get all handsy, everything goes in their mouth. And I just thought, you know, things cleaning down kitchen counters where bacteria could be, and if you use that cloth to clean a high chair where baby's going to sit, I don't know, it doesn't sit right with me. I could be being completely over the top with that worry, but I don't know. I just like the fact of just having one single cloth, or one single colour cloth, not just this one cloth, cleans a high chair, and no other cloths clean the high chair. Just wipe things down with this cloth, and then I will wash them with regular clothes again, because it's just regular cleaning. And another thing, which again, it depends on how you want to feed your baby. If you are baby-led weaning, you may not need these. Portion control things. I don't recommend this one because this one is flimsy and doesn't have a lid, but I would recommend, I will try and find one and link it below. These are great for portion sizes. They're really quite a big, things like 2 tablespoons worth in there, which is super good for purees. Also, actually, it will be good for baby-led weaning if you bulk make like bolognese or something. A portion goes in here, you shove it in the freezer, and then when you need something, you whip it out and defrost it. Like I said, this one's not very good because if you fill it with like puree and getting it in the freezer, it can go everywhere. So I don't recommend a super silicone-y one, and a lid would make this even better. But yeah, something again you don't necessarily need, but if you want to bulk make puree, sauces, anything like that, then I recommend something to freeze them in. So that's everything I recommend for essentials for weaning. And then some tips for weaning, because obviously once you've got all the gear, you need to know what you're doing. Sorry, my bra. So what to do? So obviously the big question when it comes to weaning, which everyone will ask you, are you doing baby-led weaning or are you doing purees? My answer is always, I'm doing both. Do whatever you feel comfortable with. We are doing baby-led weaning with this one at the minute, just because we're just getting her used to the new things, food and whatnot. And so I haven't felt the need to do puree because she's not really ingesting much at all. So I'm just doing baby-led weaning. But puree-wise, if you don't feel comfortable giving your child solid foods as a whole, then just do puree. There's nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with that at all. So yeah, that would be sort of my main tip there, would be just do whatever works for you. Baby-led weaning, I would say, is more fun because you kind of just put the food in front of them and you can just watch babies explore it, and it's just the faces they pull are amazing. Puree is a bit more manual labour involved, having to do the feeding, which is a bit tedious, I have to say. So yeah, that would be my advice for the baby-led weaning versus puree. Another thing is to look for free weaning classes in your local area. I used to live in London when I weaned my son, and I lived in East London, and they had classes called Henry, I believe. And so I went to a class where a lady, a paediatrician I think, or a dietitian or a nutritionist or someone in that genre, sat down with a bunch of us mums with our babies and just explained to us how to wean, basically. It was really useful. I had already started weaning Ellis, my son, at that time, and I'd given him carrot first as his first food. But then they said that the first foods you give your baby should be green vegetables that are bitter. So I didn't do that, but that's another thing I'm just going to sidestep into, is I don't think that matters. My son is 3 and he eats everything, and his first food with carrot, so I don't really think it matters what the initial first foods are, but I'm not a dietitian or nutritionist or paediatrician or a doctor or anything like that, so who am I to say? But from my experience, we gave my son carrot for the first food, and he eats everything. So don't be too strict on yourself if you don't have those vegetables to hand when your baby starts weaning. I do recommend though not giving like banana as the first food, because obviously they will lap it up quickly, and then they might be surprised if like a week after giving them banana and apple you're suddenly giving them broccoli, because it might be like, hold on, that's not nice. So yeah, so just maybe just think about that, but yeah, don't worry too much about the initial first foods. Don't overthink it, just go with what feels right for you. I will link some free resources that I know of down below in the description. There was a really good vegan plant-based booklet which I found, which was incredible because obviously we are a plant-based family. So yeah, that was really useful for us. I think it had good meal ideas. Recipe book-wise, The Little Veggie Eats, which I think is a phenomenal book. I really recommend that one. Instagram has so many baby-led weaning and baby weaning pages on there. It's unreal. It's so much. There's so many things on there. So I would just recommend having a look on there as well if you are beginning your weaning journey. We have started our weaning journey, as I mentioned. We are a week into it. I will share that in another video, otherwise this will be too long. But it's not going well. Just a small bit to say there. It's not going well. Madam here isn't interested in the slightest, but we will get there. It's normal. It's something that I didn't anticipate because my son was really good with weaning. He loved it. She just couldn't care less. So that's fun. It's a learning curve all the time. But I'd say the main thing to take away from beginning a weaning journey is to have fun and do what feels right for you. It can be such a fun experience to like make new foods for your baby. You know, you can go outside your comfort zone when it comes to like creating all these meals and things. So it is great fun. It is tiring. It can be tiring thinking of meals for little people. But it's a great thing to do. I hope this video has been helpful. If you are beginning a weaning journey, have fun, good luck, you'll have a great time. And yeah, like I mentioned, I've linked everything below just in case you want to check anything out. And I will see you in my next one where we share your weaning journey, won't we? Yeah, should we have some avocado? Just prefer the empty spoon? I think so. Thanks for watching, bye!